Welcome back to the Guava Juice podcast. I'm your host, Roy, aka Guava Juice, and I'm here with the moderator himself, Leonardo.
Yes.
All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about failures. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tricky because failures, it's really how you deal with failures that matter the most. Oh, by the way, we bought this soundboard here, but we can't really figure out how to do it. We're supposed to have like an applause after our name, so we have a Rose in the background doing the applause. Ready? There you go. All right. Let's do this. This one is Minions from Despicable Me. Go. Okay. All right. We'll get that fixed for the next one because the next episode of this podcast will have Mr. Alex Wasabi in here. We're gonna talk about Wasabi Productions, the breakup, and just like how we are in general, and how we got to be how we are today. So you guys don't want to miss that. So stay tuned next Monday or whenever this comes out. Anyways, back to the subject. We're going to talk about failures, okay? If you're new to this podcast, welcome. We're here to do our best to help you as a creator, as an artist, as an individual. I'm going to try to inspire you as much as I can with my experience. I've been on YouTube for 14 years, and I've learned so much along those times. I've been through failures, successes, changes. I adjusted through it all. So yeah, go ahead, Leonardo. Hit me with that first question.
Let's lay a foundation. What is your definition of failure?
Failure, okay, it's very subjective. People have different definitions, but my definition of failure is expecting something that comes to you, but it goes the other way. And yeah, that's mine. Yeah, it's like you accomplish something that you expected that you thought you would accomplish, but it turns the other way. Whether it's like you go to an audition, you get rejected, or that's really it. How about you?
Failure. I didn't expect that. I never expect you to bring the questions back. But yeah, failure is trying something out and it doesn't go the way
that you want it to go. Yeah. So for me, I thought about this yesterday. Failure, there are 3 ways people deal with failures. Like I said, the best way to deal with failure is to deal with it. So here are my 3 ways to deal with failures. Number 1, people deal with it. This is probably the most obvious one. You fail, you get discouraged, you never want to try whatever that goal or whatever you were trying to achieve ever again. And you go down to a downward spiral. You get somber, you get sad, and you just get not motivated. That's one way. That's probably the worst way to deal with it, honestly. Second way is the opposite of that, okay? Dissecting it, understanding why that project or failure or rejection happened, and then doing your best to prevent it and find a solution for that, not to happen again in the future. And number 3, this is probably, number 3? This is probably the one, I made this one up, but I'm pretty sure people do this one all the time.
I'm really interested what it's going to be because I thought those 2 are most of the people. Actually.
There's a third one. It's more like the neutral one. So you fail, you just shrug it off and like, all right, whatever, just move on. So you do nothing. You stay stagnant.
Like apathetic, like
it's like well,
indifferent about it.
I'm like rejected, like, oh well, nah. Like she rejected me. It's cool. Like she I don't need her. It's like stuff like that. But the best way to deal with it is the second option, like dissect it. Like you're gonna be stagnant and you're gonna be at a plateau if you don't understand why the failure happened. And I think as a creator on YouTube, a good example is like videos that don't perform well. Like, what are you gonna do when a video doesn't perform well? Especially for our channel, it's like we post so much. If a video doesn't do well, what am I gonna do? Like, all right, well, this video didn't do well. We post a lot anyway, so let's move on. It's like, you just take the time. That's the difficult part. Like, you really gotta take the time to understand why that fail occurred. And I feel like a lot of people fail on that. Like, first, like acknowledging it and like embracing it rather than like seeing it as a bad thing. Because every bad thing in this world, whether it's failures or something, a waiter yells at you or whatever, there's always some good to it. You agree or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Yeah, that's my 3 types of failures for you guys and how you should deal with it. Yeah, that's all I got.
Can you name or share, like, from your personal life,
Yeah.
An example for times when you have those 3 different types because you've experienced looking at failure in those 3 different ways, I'm guessing,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So can you share one where you didn't look at it at a healthy way, and then a number 2 and number 3?
When it spiraled down, let me think real quick. I didn't think that far ahead into what I was going to talk about in the podcast. Well, I could say, like, I do a lot of, I guess the third example I said, like, do nothing. First, I think the first time I really experienced that was in going to college, doing my applications. I only applied to 1 school, by the way. So you should not. You should apply to at least like 3 or something. I didn't get into the college I got into. I'm like, whatever. Life goes on. Moving on. I should have been like, okay, well, I got rejected. I wonder why, and how do I use that to my advantage to be a better person? But instead, I'm just like, whatever. I'll just go to community college. Plan B, whatever. I'm just like, what do you call that? Like apathetic? You're just like, whatever.
Just
Sure.
shrugging it off, basically. Like,
Yeah. Just
not
like,
making a big deal out of it.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's not the worst thing, but I feel like it could be more productive. That's what I'm trying to say. Like every time you shrug things off, it's just like, even though you're not somber or like sad that it happened or it didn't go your way, you should still like acknowledge it and try to be better because it did happen, So that's one way that situation happened for me. Another way that I took it in a positive light, I would say was when I first started the channel. Failures kept coming, meaning I posted videos that people hated, and like it wasn't interesting at all. Like I was just like stagnant because I used to film a lot of gaming videos, and I would just film gaming videos like, oh, cool, nice, sweet, cool, wow, let's open this door, wow. And then I just read all the comments and like, hey, you should do this, do that, do this, do that, and yeah, that's a form of like criticism. We talk about that a lot in another podcast called Success, like how to deal with success and how to be successful is understanding those criticisms. So I took that failure for the videos that didn't perform well, dissected it, read the comments, read the data. I'm like, okay, cool, let's change it up. And yeah, here I am now. Cool. It worked. So as far as the third way, the spiraling down, like approaching it in a really negative way, I don't know. I try not to do that as often. I feel like this happens a lot with relationships. If a relationship doesn't go right, or if you get rejected, or you just kind of just blame the other person. Yeah, you blame yourself, and you just get into this anger and this mode where you're just like angry all the time, sad all the time. That's a good example, to be honest. I felt that it was harsh, but after a while, you just got to take time to like understand why that happened and embrace that. It did happen for a reason. And you kind of just embrace all the moments you had in that relationship, to be honest. And like, okay, here are all the good things, the parts that mattered, and here are all the bad things. I mean, I'm sad that the bad things happened. I'm sad that it turned out the way it is. But hey, how do we make this into a good light? How do I become a better person from this? So it's always like the solution is just to be a better person, no matter what.
So constantly just asking yourself, what can I learn from this situation?
Yeah,
move forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's life, basically. I mean, you just got to learn whatever life throws at you, good or bad. Rejections, successes, life changes. There's always something you can learn from it, no matter what. So don't take anything for granted. Just do your best to learn why it happened instead of like being negative about it. That's all I got to say. It helps a lot, dude. It helps a lot.
What other examples can you think of? Because I like those 3 types because I think everyone usually falls to one of those 3.
Yeah.
Number 2 and 3 are the ones you say are healthy, right?
I would say, I mean, obviously, like the looking at it and taking it in a positive light, but the neutral ones, like, I don't know if the shrugging things off is healthy, but it's better than not, shrugging or taking it into the bad light or the darkness and the dark spot. But hey, I mean, obviously it's like hard to do. It takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of understanding, a lot of patience and self-control with your mind. So you really got to find, I guess, peace with yourself first. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
go ahead.
Yeah, you just got to love yourself a lot. Like, I love me for me. And hey, I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. Let's take these mistakes and these failures and just, let's use it in a good light.
Connected to that, do you believe there's a connection between failure and success?
Oh, yeah, dude. You can't be successful without failure. Like I said in the beginning, everyone's bound to fail. And you can't be successful if you don't know how to deal with those failures. I feel like every successful person, like entrepreneur, businessman, they dealt with failures, multiple failures. But like I said, it matters most of how, when you deal with it, how you deal with them. And those three things, I'm telling you, I feel like those are really big parts. I mean, there's probably more ways to deal with it. There's probably a fourth one, the fourth way to deal with failure. Eat.
Which is kind of connected to number 3 or number 1, right? Let's be clear.
Okay, let's be clear. So number 1, so type 1, type 2, type 3. So type 1 is negative, type 2 is positive, and type 3 is shrugging it off.
Yeah.
Just to be clear for all the listeners and viewers out there.
I was just thinking about number 3. I think sometimes the context matters too. So I met one of Marlon's friends on Friday. Yeah. Josh. He does a lot of music videos, and he was saying that it's a numbers game. So what he does is he has to do these treatments or ideas for these music videos. Yeah. And the average person in that industry gets 2 clients out of 100. So it's not. So part of your third option was just shrugging it off and just not taking it personally. And maybe sometimes there's not really a reason why, not to take it personal. Yeah. So maybe you create videos and maybe it was a great video. And it's just just not taking it personally. So sometimes maybe number 3 is healthy. Yeah. Not healthy. Well, definitely healthier than number 1.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
like I said, auditions and stuff, you go to an audition and they don't accept you. And maybe sometimes okay, well, that's how auditions work. I mean, probably 2% of people get accepted anyway, so I might as well just keep doing it. So you're saying that's fine.
Yeah. Maybe the girl you're asking out, maybe she just doesn't like people at that height or people from Idaho, you know what I mean? Not to take certain things personal.
Yeah, so you should just get surgery, get taller, and move to Wisconsin.
Exactly. Yeah. Why do you think some people go to number 1?
Because it's easy to do. It's the easiest thing to do, being sad, negative, it's so easy to obtain rather than being positive. It just takes less effort. But, it's cool. It's comforting. I think that's why, too. It can be comforting, and, sometimes you got to go to that place in order to go to the other places too.
Can you elaborate on that?
If you fail, you're I'm just going to be sad for a day and then I can, work better tomorrow, So I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be sad about your failures. I mean, be sad, but then eventually find your way out of there and okay, cool. I'm better than this. You know what I'm saying? I've gone to that place before, this didn't work out. I'm just going to eat ice cream all day and just, watch Netflix and just whatever. I hate myself. But then, after a while, I'm just okay, that's not healthy. Just realizing that it's not healthy and you just got to do more than that.
Do you think it's some kind of phase where you go from 1, 3, then 2? You know what I mean? It's stages. You're you're in the beginning you're sad, and then you're and then you're what can I learn from this? It's kind of
it's usually for me. I just shrug it off, but then I'm wait, I should do something. So I should go to stage 2. Yeah. That's usually for me. That's why I do number 3 a lot. These numbers are confusing. Let's do,
we should clarify. 1, 2, 3.
Negative, positive, and neutral. There you go.
Okay, negative,
positive, and then shrug it off. Yeah. So, Yeah, I usually shrug it off and then just head to the positive. You know,
For those who might be in the negative state, what would your advice be for them? And then maybe elaborate, like, why do you think on a deeper level someone stays in that place?
I don't know. I mean, if you stay there for, I don't know, for a long period of time, I feel like it's like you lost hope. I feel like that's a good term. Like if you're losing hope and you're in that state where you failed and then you just don't want to try it again because you're afraid of failures again. I'm just saying, you don't know until you try. You just do your best to pick yourself back up and try again. If you fail, but hey, I mean, at least you tried. And it's probably not going to be as bad as your failure the first time. It's probably going to be a lot better. And then you've already been through it once. So it's like, if it happens again, it's not going to hurt you like as bad as it did. So just do your best, pick yourself up to the positive. I mean, come on. I mean, life's too short. You just got to, embrace every moment and every opportunity. Time is very precious, so use it wisely.
When you're speaking, I was thinking of the difference between failing and failure, as far as like someone who fails and then takes it personally and then attaches that belief to their identity that I'm a failure. So like someone who, I used to be a teacher. So like when a student like gets 3 F's on a math test, they're like, I am not good in math. Yeah. But maybe they just didn't study, or maybe they're just looking at failure in the wrong way, basically. So what are your thoughts on like having a healthy identity, as you could say, like just the way you look at yourself?
Like if you constantly fail at things and then you kind of take that into your own character.
Yeah. Like, so I'm thinking of like, even people who a lot of people who are watching this maybe want to be like YouTubers or something like that. And they're like, oh my gosh, like I posted 100 videos and I got like 5 views or whatever like that. So their identity is like, oh, I am not a YouTuber. Like I really believe the words like I am or I am not are very powerful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like, oh, I'm not meant, or even better, like they have a fixed mindset and it's like, I'm not meant to do something just because of failures in the past. And when maybe like video 200 is what is gonna pop off, so
yeah, that all comes down to patience and just your mindset to it. I mean, even if you fail, let's like the math class, like you failed 3 times. I don't know, why did you fail 3 times? Like you said, did you not study? I mean, it's different if you like studied for it and then and you keep getting F's, then maybe you're just not good at math. Maybe you're just like, okay, well, just accept it, I guess. Like, I'm bad at math, but, there are like XYZ things I'm absolutely great at too. So, just focus on that. But there's always a solution to your failures. I mean, if it keeps reoccurring, like I said, if you want to, you got to think of it in the positive light. Like dissecting it for sure is very important. Understanding it, I think that's what it is. Dissecting why that happened, understanding why it happened, and finding solutions to prevent it from happening again is probably the best way to approach it. Especially like another, like your example for like YouTuber channels. What did I say? YouTubers, for YouTubers, it's all about patience. And like what I did in the beginning, like I knew my videos weren't doing as well. I knew they were failing because it showed in the views. Like, why is this video getting 10 views instead of like 100 views? You know what I'm saying? I figured it out. I read the comments. There's always solutions. That's what I'm trying to say to every single thing. You just got to like look for it. I mean, some of them might be hard to find. Some of them might take a long time to find, but there's always something. And it's just a matter of your willpower and your determination to figure out that solution and apply it for the next time you do your thing.
So is that an important belief you hold, which is there's always a solution? You said it a couple times throughout this. Where did you get that mindset, and how did you like do it? Because you sound very certain about like I believe this is
dude. So. I have no idea. I think it's just I really don't know. That's a good question. I guess it's just like I don't know, just doing things over and over, and then just becoming confident in my craft and my work, and kind of like, I don't know, understanding why I am at a position where I am now, and I guess experience. I mean, it doesn't really come from like, anyone or anybody. It's just like my own personal experiences. So, and maybe that's like the best thing to like learn sometimes. Actually, that is the best way to learn is through experience. Like, how people learn languages, like by just like living in countries for like a month. Yeah, same thing. It's like you experience the language over and over and over. Maybe I experience failures over and over and over again to get to where I am. Who knows?
Yeah, they say the most successful people, like it's literally connected. Like the more successful people like have experienced the most failure, and they just didn't stop. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Mr. Beast, like how they said he did like 700 videos or something like that
until he exploded. Yeah,
something like that.
He probably felt alive. Probably acknowledged it and then figured it out. Worked on his craft. And that note, let me get an applause. Applause. Go. Woo! I promise this soundboard will be really, really good. Okay, this says eating chicken. There's a button that says eating chicken. Can I get eating chicken? There's another button that says laughter.
Oh, SpongeBob. Upgrade.
Wow. All right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Keep going, dude. We're on a roll. Failures are great.
Yeah.
Failures.
But before we start, would you like to talk about our sponsor for today?
Yes, our sponsor today. We don't have any sponsors, but hey, we will one day. Just buy our merch. We actually bought 3 new cameras here. No. So thank you for buying our merch. Go to guavajuice.com. We need some more gear. We still gotta buy a new table.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I know, because this is just paper on top of the table. So yeah, guavajuice.com.
Good thing we found cameras that are cheaper than table, because
I know, right? We need amazing. A really nice table, because every time we hit it, here, listen, you hear that, and that's not good. See, this table is a failure. But hey, let's dissect it, understand why it's a failure. It's too loud. We need to buy a new one. Solution solved. Problem solved. What? Okay, go ahead.
You want to talk about you did engineering? What did you do?
Oh, my college career?
Yeah, what was your college career?
I went to
college career.
So, yeah, after I got rejected from college of my choice, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to be a nurse, because, all Filipinos, that's probably like the best backup plan. The Filipino parents spread on you. You're going to be a nurse because I'm a nurse. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll give it a shot. Then I went to community college. I took like anatomy. I was like, this is dumb.
Not for you. It's not for you.
It's not for me. Yeah, I knew this is not for me. Like, how is learning the scientific name of a kidney gonna help me out with my life? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I can't do this. So I changed my major to computer engineering. I transferred out of community college after 2 years into North Carolina State University, because they're really good with their engineering program. So the first semester, I figured that wasn't for me either, because I took this circuit class where you learn about voltage and then the amplitudes and whatever. I'm like, how is amplitude and voltage gonna help my happiness in life and what I want to do? So I didn't want to do that. So I changed it to computer science, which is like programming, like making apps and developing apps and stuff. I thought I was dope. So I did that for like another semester, only to find out that it was too hard for me. Like my focus and my retention could not fathom like all the codes and whatever. It was fun, I can tell you that. But after 6 months of doing it, I'm like, dang, I don't know if I can do this. Because at the time I was already making YouTube videos and I was already like liking it. I like creating things and making things out of nothing from like my mind, and then writing it on paper and then filming it. So that was kind of like my passion. So from there, I changed my majors for the 3rd time into film studies. And that's where I kind of just grew in love with it. Like, hey, okay, let's watch movies from the 1940s. And I like watched it. I was like, dang, this is dope. This used to be movies back in the day. Wow, these are the worst. And like I saw the evolution of film, and I just grew in love with it. But hey, when I was doing, fun fact, I was doing computer engineering. I was in academic probation, meaning I had a GPA of 1, and I needed like a semester to get it back over a 2.0. So, you know why that happened?
Why?
it was because Netflix was starting to boom back then, and then I was like, I made an account, and then I kept watching Lost, the show Lost. I kept watching it like at night, and those cliffhangers got me so good. I would stay up until 4 a.m. because those cliffhangers. And then my classes started at 6:30, so I would just sleep through the whole day. Don't do that if you're in college. If you're in college, find your passion. That's a big thing to say, because it's like I don't know. That's hard to find, but take your time. We'll get to that in another podcast. But passion.
Nice. The reason I asked about the college stuff is because I feel like it contributed to your mindset of like, there's always a solution. And also, can you connect that also to how you kept on changing your major, and how do you, some people would look at that as failure or whatever. Like, what's your mindset on changing your major and things like that?
I changed my major because I was at a point where I wasn't happy with what I'm doing. And I had the opportunity to change my major in exchange for, staying in college longer to finish all my credits. But you know what? In the end, it's all about happiness. Everyone's always striving for happiness. And if failure gets in the way of your happiness, that's where the 3 types of ways you can, get through it to obtain happiness can come in handy. So yeah, it's all about happiness. And I wasn't happy, so I just kept changing it over and over and over again until I found some kind of like satisfaction into what I was going to school for. And touche, malarkey. Touche, malarkey.
For some reason, when you were talking and about happiness and everything, some people like failure is also like that is used in a subjective way where like, oh, you're a failure. Like someone would look at someone else and say you're a failure.
Yeah.
When someone else might look at that same person and say you are successful, right? And so it's subjective. What are your thoughts on that? And as far as like how that relates to like finding a job or a career that you enjoy?
Say that one more time. I was like angling myself for the camera. Like, which angle is the best?
Which angle is the best?
I don't know. This looks good. All you audio listeners can't even see us. What's up, audio? Shout outs to all the audio people.
True.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So
I blanked out.
So failure is also used as in a subjective way, as far as like you're a failure in life, or looking at someone like that they're beneath, like an unhealthy way. And then other people might look at the same person and say that person's successful. And also how that connects to like enjoying your job and finding a job. The reason I share this is because like some people, you ever get like, oh, when are you going to get a real job? Like, have you ever gotten that? Like,
no,
I
get it all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So people in the creative field, like there's this pressure like, oh, when are you going to get a real job? And I'm like, I'm happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how it relates to.
First things first, we're all successful. I mean, we were all born, so we made it to Earth, guys. Wait. Applause. Congratulations for being born. You're successful for growing out of a fetus. And yes, anyways. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's a hard one to answer. What is it how do you enjoy your job? I think it's your purpose, your mission, like what you want to like fulfill as a person. Like for me, I just like making people laugh. I'm happy. I see it a lot, like Make-A-Wish. Like we're doing a Make-A-Wish pretty soon too. Just seeing it like in these kids' faces, like you can tell that they're affected by the way they watch the videos, and you just see them. I don't know. Every time I see like fans, you just see like sparkles in their eye and stuff. Like So yeah, it's all about your purpose. Find your mission statement. I learned that from you. Find a mission statement.
From who?
From Groot in the background.
Nice. Groot has a great mission statement.
I am Groot.
Yeah, it's deep. So while you're talking, I looked up the odds of you being born.
Oh wow.
Guess what it is.
1 out of 2 billion.
Less chance of that. Wait,
less chance of
less chance
billion?
of that.
Is it more? You're more likely to win the lottery?
It's a chance of like basically winning the lottery like every day of your life. Basically.
Wow.
It's
so we all won the lottery.
Yeah. 1 in 400 trillion. That's the math, supposedly.
Oh, trillion.
Trillion.
Trillion. That's a huge number.
Yeah. That's like getting hit by lightning, like, I don't know, over 1,000 times in the same spot or something crazy like that.
That's a crazy number.
I just made that up, but it sounds right to me.
Hey, congrats. Congrats, we were all born, guys.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, soundboard. Thank you. Yeah. Anyways, failures. Yeah. Anything else, really?
Yeah. So, you talked about the different types of like looking at failure.
Yeah.
How to look at it in a healthy way. What are some practical advice that you could give someone who is really hard on themselves as far as like failing, like going back to like, oh, it's like I'm a failure, like when it's really bad deep, like it's like, because I've been, we all go through that sometimes.
Yeah, I've been there. I think just don't be hard on yourself. I think that's the realization of it. Like when something doesn't go your way, you're just like, you just blame yourself for everything that happened. I mean, it may be true, but it's like there's other solutions than that. Like blame yourself, but hey, also you can also get out of that situation. So I don't know. Just don't blame yourself. For me, always remember there's a solution. Always come back to that, because there really is, and you really got to understand, like, if you're in a bad spot, there's always a good spot. I don't know. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but I can't emphasize how that mindset is super powerful and effective if you just like realize it and see it in front of you, So yeah, get rid of that cloud that's like hindering your positivity, and then find that little positive light in you and grasp it as hard as you can.
What do you think of this? So failure is nothing more than feedback. It's just feedback, and it's nothing saying that there's nothing wrong with you, like you as a person. There's just your strategy is just wrong, and all you got to do is just change your strategy to be more successful, I guess. But
what would you tell someone who doesn't know what the strategy is, or doesn't want to, work to even understand that there is a strategy?
I think it goes back to beliefs, man. Yeah. Because I think, like what you said, like the foundation is believing that there's a solution to begin with.
Yeah, always.
Because if you don't believe that, then you won't find the possibilities or the options to make. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like imagine like if you had you never knew what Google was, right? Like you didn't know that you could just like Google something. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I guess there's no way for me to figure this out. But if you believe there's options to find a solution, then
there is. Which there is. And you should understand that there is. It might be hard. That's I'm like a broken record saying the same things over and over, but yes, sometimes it'll be hard and it'll take a lot of patience to get to it, but there is always a solution. Speaking of Google, I learned the scientific name for guava is Psyllium guajava.
Are you trolling?
I'm not. Look it up. Look it up. The scientific name for guava is Psyllium guajava. Psyllium guajava. Hey, let me get a applause. Yes, I swear. So yeah, I guess we gotta change the whole channel to Psyllium Guava Juice.
Oh, that could be. You know how like Markiplier has that second channel?
Unos Ines, yeah.
Same thing.
Maybe it's gonna be hard to spell. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, failures. Embrace it.
Who are some like, I don't know. There's so many famous people that has failed so many times. Is there one that stands out to you?
Person who has failed over and over and over again.
Just like that inspires you, that you remember they've gone through a lot, but they didn't stop.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have that many role models. I just kind of just learned from experiences and figured it out things by myself. I'm trying to think of a person that really, really did inspire me.
Or just you've noticed they failed and they didn't let it stop them. You're a sports guy, right? You know any athletes?
I mean, probably every NBA player out there.
That's true.
Yeah. Kobe. Want to talk about Kobe?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant. drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, but then got traded to the Lakers because they thought he couldn't do anything. Probably the Hornets' worst decision ever. But hey, it's like, Kobe. He's in the NBA, or was in the NBA. Rest in peace, Kobe. GG, everyone in the helicopter crash. But he wanted to win every single championship title, right? That's probably his goal, right? And probably, he would go in the gym like 5 a.m. in the morning just to shoot 3,000 shots. Is that true?
I don't know the number, right? But that I believe he did whatever it took.
But I heard the story about Kobe. It was like they were somewhere and like his teammates wanted to go out for the night and like party. You hear that?
Yeah. Go ahead, share.
Yeah. And they're like, "Hey, Kobe, you want to go out?" And then Kobe was like, "No, man. I got to practice in the morning." Yeah. And then Kobe eventually went out with them, and then they stayed out late. And then the next morning, Kobe knocked at the door at 4 a.m. He was like, "Hey, I went out with y'all. Come on, we got to practice."
I partied with y'all, now you got to party with me. Yeah.
So I like stuff like that is cool. It's like resisting not to fail again by, regardless of like the situation. You want to do your best to wake up in the morning, have that mentality, the mama mentality, just to work hard no matter what time of day it is to avoid failures from happening again. Because he probably recognized why he failed.
Yeah.
And he found solutions, which is wake up early in the morning to work on your craft and master it. So Kobe did it over and over and over and over again. And yes, understand why you failed and find that solution. Because there is always a solution. I can not express it more.
No, it's good to repeat. Sometimes you have to repeat things over and over again.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And another athlete I could think. Actually, if you stick to Kobe, if I remember his story, one of his first games, he scored like 0 points too. Like he's just been through. Like he just looks at it as feedback and he just studies the tape and he gets better. And not takes it personal, because a lot of people, would be like, I'm not meant to do something just because of a failure.
Yeah. Some people would be embarrassed to even watch the tapes. Like, oh, okay, I did so bad. I just don't want to watch this tape because I did horrible. Let's move on and, watch the tape I actually did good on.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. So I think we're at a point where we shared like the most important things about failure.
Oh, yeah.
Can you summarize like the main points one more time, even though I know you said it's like a broken record, but sometimes you got to repeat things over and over again for someone to really get it.
Yeah. So failure it's a bad thing, but it's also a very gracious and peaceful thing if you can look at it in that light. And, there are ways you could deal with it. You can deal it in a negative way, in a positive way, meaning understanding why it happened and finding solutions for it to not happen again and to be better as a person. Or you can just shrug it off and be like, just moving on. But obviously the best way is to understand it and dissect it and be better as a person. And there is always a solution. That is what we keep saying. Every bad thing or every good thing always has a solution to even become better. And that's it, really. That's the main themes for today's episode of failures. Any last notes?
Yeah, I just want to make it clear for everyone, those who are watching. Like, just because you fail doesn't mean you're a failure. Like, it's not something that's like fixed and this is your life for the rest of your life. You could always change it. There's always a solution. Yeah. I think that should be a t-shirt or something.
Huh? Dude, yeah. Everyone's bound to fail, but it's not a bad thing. Like, you're not a failure. You're actually very successful. You were born. Think about it like that. And then 2, you will always be at that good light no matter what. You just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
Oh, you know what I hear?
What? Hey, okay, I need some help. Ready? Go. Applause. Yeah! Okay. Go.
Oh.
No. This is our intro. Please don't click out yet. Go. Come on. Just because you're a failure doesn't mean you're not the greatest. You're the greatest because you're very successful. Dude, I don't know. These raps are not making sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's cool. Okay.